Sarah Miller wiped her brow as she finished polishing the grand pianos at Manhattan Music Academy. At 38, her hands were calloused from years of cleaning these hallowed halls. Mrs. Henderson reminded her they were setting up for the Steinberg competition tonight. Sarah's eyes drifted to the magnificent Steinway. When Mrs. Henderson returned to her crossword, Sarah quietly slipped onto the bench, hands hovering over the keys. Her mother had been a waitress at a Brooklyn jazz club. After closing, the pianist would let 7-year-old Sarah explore the keyboard. "You've got it, little bird," he'd say. But then her mother got sick. Bills piled up. Piano lessons fell away. Life became about surviving, not dreaming. "I didn't know the janitors played." Sarah jumped. Miguel, the new security guard, stood in the doorway. "Play something," he said. Sarah shook her head. "I never had lessons. Besides, instruments like these aren't for people like me." Miguel tilted his head. "And what kind of people are you?" He mentioned the wild card spot in the competition. "What's the worst that could happen?" Sarah laughed bitterly. "Humiliation, ridicule, confirmation of everything I've told myself for 20 years. Or," Miguel countered, "the opposite." The next morning, Sarah lingered after her shift, watching contestants arrive in tailored outfits while she stood in her gray uniform. "You came," Miguel said, pressing a registration form into her hand. "I heard you playing when you thought everyone had left." "Sarah, I've worked here 5 years. What you played was real." Before she could respond, Eleanor Whitmore, the legendary pianist and lead judge, entered with the committee. "Last call for wild card auditions," announced the registration woman. Something tightened in Sarah's chest. Defiance. "I'd like to audition," Sarah said. The woman looked up, eyes widening at Sarah's uniform. "And your piece?" "It's original. Something I composed." Sarah was assigned to go last. A young man in a crisp suit smirked. "I think you got the wrong room. Custodial services is down the hall." Several others laughed, but Sarah kept her eyes fixed on the audition room door. Finally, Sarah Miller was called. She entered to face 3 judges, a middle-aged man, a younger woman, and Eleanor Whitmore. "And your musical background?" Eleanor asked. "I'm self-taught." Whispers spread through the audience. "I'm on the cleaning staff." More whispers. Eleanor gestured toward the grand piano, then cleared her throat. "Actually, Ms. Miller, perhaps that instrument isn't quite appropriate." She pointed to an old upright in the corner. "That one would be more forgiving for an amateur performance." Sarah walked to the upright. The bench creaked. She pressed middle C, wincing at the flat tone. "If it's too challenging, you're welcome to withdraw," Eleanor said, smirking. "This piano is fine," Sarah replied. Sarah began to play. The first notes emerged tentatively, and someone stifled a laugh. But her left hand found a rhythm while her right explored a melody. The old piano responded, and something in the music commanded attention. Eleanor interrupted loudly. "Perhaps something more conventional? A Chopin etude." Sarah paused. "I don't play Chopin." Eleanor's tone was sweet poison. "Surely anyone claiming to be a pianist can manage that." The male judge shifted uncomfortably, but Eleanor rose and walked to the piano. "Perhaps I could demonstrate what we're looking for." She played a Chopin nocturne perfectly, then stopped. "That's the level of control we expect. Now, would you like to try again with a proper piece?" "I'd like to continue with my own piece," Sarah said. Eleanor relinquished the bench dismissively. Sarah resumed her seat. No hesitation this time. She began to play. The transformation was immediate. What had started simple now expanded into something richer, deeper. Her left hand created complex rhythms while her right wove intricate patterns. The old piano seemed to awaken under her touch. The audience fell silent. Sarah's music told a story of struggle and perseverance, of beauty in unexpected places. She incorporated classical structure with hints of jazz, harmonies that spoke of urban streets. Eleanor's smile had frozen. The other judges watched with wonder. When Sarah reached the climax, the music soared beyond the shabby upright, beyond preconceptions. Every person knew they were witnessing something extraordinary. As the final chord faded, complete silence followed. Then someone began to applaud. Suddenly, the entire audience was on their feet. The male judge rose, still clapping. That was extraordinary. Only Eleanor remained seated, her expression rigid. Finally, she rose. "I believe we've reached an unprecedented consensus. Sarah Miller, the Steinberg competition welcomes you as this year's wildcard finalist." Fresh applause erupted. Miguel appeared at the door, grinning. Later, Eleanor approached Sarah quietly. You played that old piano as if it were a Steinway. It deserved the chance to be heard, Sarah replied. Eleanor extended her hand. If you'd like, I could offer some guidance for what comes next. Sarah smiled. I'd like that. Sarah Miller, the cleaning woman with calloused hands, had just changed the music world's perception of what was possible. Sometimes the most extraordinary talent hides in plain sight, waiting for the courage to be revealed.